What is up guys, welcome to BoomerBase. Thank you for being patient while I took some time away. As promised, after the poll, the winner was to do a video of my top 5 underrated anime series. But before we get to the good stuff, as always, let's get cracking. First of all, I just want you all to remember that this list is my opinion. Not everything I will say will resonate with you, and that's absolutely fine. That's the beauty of something like anime. Everyone can have a different opinion, and that's absolutely fine. All I ask is that any comments and thoughts are nice and kind, but by all means, make your own suggestions down below. Watching more anime is always a positive. For the 5 anime on my list, one thing I have learned from my top 10 anime on Netflix, by the way check out the video here and it will be down below in the description, is that I forgot to include a number 1 spot, so I'll make sure definitely to include that this time. For clarity, this list will be in no form of order. As an avid fan and lover of anime, I had to have a really good sit down and think about what I personally thought are underrated anime. Now to clarify what I mean in this instance of underrated, I mean an anime I feel I don't hear talked about enough, or when I talk to other friends about anime that they have never heard of or watched these particular animes. Now that that's out the way, let's get to the list. The first on this list is an anime called Claymore. Claymore is set in the Middle Ages. It's a gory anime that follows the story of a claymore called Claire. A claymore is humanity's last defense against evil beings called Yoma. They endeavor to fight against them to protect humanity. Claire is a low-ranking member and the series follows her on her quest for personal vengeance. Along the way, she encounters many unexpected things about the world, from the camaraderie and hope held fast by her sisters in arms to the sinister truth behind the Claymore organization. This anime as a whole is honestly one of my favorite anime in general. I love the story, I love the characters, I love the mystery, the fight scenes are great, the power scaling is done really well. This anime is available on Crunchyroll and as far as I'm aware nowhere else in the UK, but by any non-UK viewers please check places like Netflix etc. I know this is anime that is still in print to buy on DVD, but we sadly don't have a Blu-ray release as of yet, but we can always wish. But again, any non-UK people, check your Amazon and see if it's there, and I implore you to check as well. Now this anime was shown to me by a friend who stayed over one night and we were looking for an anime to watch and we decided on this, so we began the binge. The anime has a total of 26 episodes, so relatively short. We got through the first 21 episodes before he went home, and then I proceeded to finish it swiftly after he left. There is a manga that has 27 volumes and is complete, and it's something I have always wanted to buy, and from revisiting it, I shall now buy, so please do look forward to that in another upcoming video. The anime I know slightly differs at some points compared to the manga, but that sometimes does happen. I wish we got more of the manga adapted, as it sucks that we didn't get more. I'm fairly sure this is an anime that I have watched at least 10 times, maybe more. I tend to watch it like once a year or so, and it's something that's very short and just something that I can easily sink my teeth into. If you want cool power-ups and fighting with cool boss monsters and a plot to uncover about the workings of the world, then this is an anime for you. Coming up next is an anime called Darker Than Black. From the wonderful mind of Tensei Okamura, he got this idea for Darker Than Black whilst he was creating the film Wolf's Rain. A great film, check it out if you haven't. He also has worked as a storyboarder on anime greats such as Cowboy Bebop and Neon Genesis Evangelion and many others. He also directed an anime I used to love watching on Fox Kids when I was younger called Medabots. An awesome Pokemon-esque clone where people battle with robots rather than Pokemon. Now, I highly recommend that as well. I also might have triggered something in your brain that has you going, oh damn, I remember that as well, so if that's happened, even better. Darker Than Black was awarded Best Original Anime of the Year by GoGoPlex, a popular magazine for teens. Now, enough talk. You want to know what the anime is about? Well, something called Heaven's Gate appeared in South America and Japan. Spooky, I know. No one knows what they are for and why they arrived. From the gates, contractors, who in exchange for their humanity are granted supernatural abilities. The story follows the infamous contractor called Black Reaper as he undertakes missions for the mysterious and ruthless syndicate, while slowly peeling back the dark layers covering a nefarious plot that threatens the very existence of the contractors. To quote my anime list, This anime is a sci-fi thriller taking the form of a subtle expose on a war in which political positions and justice have no sway, a war waged exclusively in the shadows. When I first started getting more physical anime, this amongst other titles such as Soul Eater and Love Hina were some of the few that I got and equally fell in love with during my earlier years. Again, Soul Eater and Love Hina I would recommend as well. It has a kick-ass first intro song. At least in the UK, I think it's only available physically or on Crunchyroll. Again, check your own Amazon, see if it's there. Again, a relatively digestible series clocking in at 25 episodes. I know there is a manga, but I've never really delved into that route before, and I also know that there is a sequel and an OVA special. The sequel, Season 2, I also own and have watched, but again, you don't have to fully commit, you can just watch the first season and decide from there. Next is an anime called Kenichi the Mightiest Disciple. For this anime, let me take you back to your youth, where if you were like me, you were visiting YouTube and watching anime AMVs. If you don't know what an AMV is, you might be too young for this video. One day I stumbled upon an AMV that used a song by my favourite band Skillet called Not Gonna Die, which had an AMV for this anime. I watched it, loved what I watched, bought the DVD the next day. The DVD for this in the UK is now a little rare and quite expensive. The series is a little longer than the previous two, but still digestible at 50 episodes. Now I must warn, there is a slight element of ecchi within this anime, with a rather large-chested female accompanying main character, but other than that, and some choice clothing, it's all pretty tame. I know there is a manga and a sequel OVA, but those were never available legally for me, so I never delved further. The story revolves around our main character Kenichi, who attends a karate club and is getting bullied there. He gets challenged to a match to decide whether he stays at the club, in which obviously they thought he was going to lose. He then witnesses our female lead, Miu, who defends herself against some thugs, and basically Kenichi asks her for tips on how to defend himself, and she takes him to her grandfather's dojo, Ryozen Paku, where several skilled, albeit strange, masters of extreme martial arts have gathered to hone their abilities. Now, all these masters are very cool, they don't get their sort of backstories, you get to dive into them, and they're all kind of hilarious. Now, I won't spoil anything further than that. Kenichi does get stronger, there are rival crime martial art gangs that threaten him and his friends, so if you take that in mind, it's your typical new threat appears, main character becomes stronger, etc. If you like anime like Naruto, Hajime no Ippo and Katekyo Hitman Reborn, this anime is for you for sure, and it's quite a lot shorter than the ones I have mentioned. Penultimately is an anime called Silver Spoon. Now, for a light-hearted anime, the only one on this actual list, but if you do want a video with more light-hearted suggestions, drop a comment below and I'll do my best to do so. Now, this anime had 2 seasons at 11 episodes each. It does have a manga, but it's not something I've purchased yet. As I'm aware, in the UK it seems to be only available on Crunchyroll, but again, explore your options and physical media if this is something that would interest you. For me, this is like the anime version of Clarkson's Farm. Now, not totally the same, but it made me interested in farming and agriculture. Now, one big thing to note for this anime and manga is it's written by Hiromu Arakawa, and for those who don't know, she is the creator of Fullmetal Alchemist. This is what she did after that. So something very different from Fullmetal Alchemist, with that being renowned as one of the best, if not the best anime out there, at least in regards to brotherhood. Now, on the surface, this is a slice of life anime about our main character Yugo as he escapes the pressures of his parents for attending a good school and goes to a boarding school called Oeizo Agriculture High School. 10 out of 10 for butchering some of those names. Our main character is convinced he will do well here. After all, he's smart, he knows what he's doing, but it's quickly shown that he is wrong. It's an interesting show where you will learn facts about farms and farm animals, but it also doesn't hide from some of the truths we don't want to see, so be warned for that. Sadly, the anime didn't finish, and you would have to continue it via the manga, but again, it's not unheard of, so I can accept that. Now, there are tons of great characters in this series, and for how short it is, even if you just watch season 1 at 11 episodes, I think you will find something good out of it. Lastly is an anime called World Trigger. This anime is the longest of the lot, with its initial series clocking in at 73 episodes, with 2 further series of 12 and 14 episodes, bringing the grand total to 99 episodes. It does have a manga that is ongoing, and I do own a few volumes. Those volumes were how I got into World Trigger. It was a random purchase that led to me reading and going, fuck this, I'm watching this. in a completely positive way, obviously. One cost me money to buy volumes, the other was just viewing on Crunchyroll, so, you know, you make your decision at that point. Now, before season 2 and 3 came out, I would have easily said this was the most underrated show I have watched, and I think for me it still holds that spot, but it's a show that needs more love for sure. It's such a cool concept, and it's one I'm currently rewatching again at the moment. I love the power scaling within this show. Now, there are things called gates in this world, and from those gates spawn monsters, and those monsters are called neighbours. To fight those neighbours, members of the Border Defense Agency use triggers. The story revolves around Mikumu Osamu, again, lovely butchering of a name, an in-training member at the Border Defense Agency, and essentially they are not permitted to use their triggers outside of headquarters, but when an attack happens, he is forced to act, and the new transfer student is there, and it turns out he is a neighbour, and one that seems to be good. The main character is not overpowered, and I repeat, he is not overpowered. He has some smarts, but he's weak and has to try figure out alternatives. Now, it'd be like me being in this show and being the main character. You know, I've got, maybe, to toot my own horn, I've got some smarts, but I'm not powerful at all in any form of retrospect, so that's one heavy reason why I like this show. The fights and the fight scenes alone are why you should stick around for this show. The power system for World Trigger was very interesting, as well as being well expanded in great detail. The try-on system in World Trigger resembles like a video game where you have to master the class purpose in combat, as well as mastering its skills for the class to deal with situations that they are in, so they can fight back. This reason alone is why I adore the fight structure in World Trigger, because instead of having a bunch of overpowered characters ganging up on strong foes, where they will most likely get defeated, unless the writer does a random ass pull, the characters in World Trigger actually have to work together by communicating with each other, as well as planning out strategies and tactics to defeat their foes. Thanks to this great fighting structure, the fights in World Trigger are extremely unpredictable, to a point where you essentially don't know who's going to win in the end, which adds a lot of tension to it, in which kind of think about it as in like one might be, a sniper, one might be like a shotgunner, or a gunner, one might be solely a physical melee person, it adds that sort of class structure to it. But again, I've spoken a little bit more here than the others, but essentially you get the picture. It's a show that I really like, and despite its longness, I fully implore you to give it at least a go. It's a very awesome anime, and I think once you've given that go, you will also be in the same boat who wants to go watch World Trigger. It's underrated. Now, that will wrap it up for this video. Thank you for staying to the end, and hopefully this video helped with at least one new anime to add to your lists. Let me know some of your favourite go-to animes to recommend that you think are underrated down below in the comments. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, and look out for the next poll to help decide what video I will do next. Have a lovely day, take care, bye-bye. Hey, thank you for watching the video. Click the button to keep watching, or click the other video for more videos, and don't forget to subscribe. Thank you!